Third question for authentic goal setting. Hello, I'm Ranjan Kumar, founder Mysticfusion International and authentic self-leadership coach. This is the third video in the series of the videos that I'm making on 3 questions for authentic goal setting. The purpose behind this series of videos was to help you understand that there is a fundamental way of looking towards goals, and even before you dive into materializing your goals, there are certain questions you must ask yourself to ensure that you are on the right path, on the right track. Well, after these 2 questions that you have seen in my previous videos, here's your third question, and this is: ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price? Ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price? Yes. I hope you understand and agree that every goal has its own price. Every dream has its own price. Every vision has its own price. Nobody gets anything for free, and you keep investing so much into that. But I told you in my previous video that you need to invest your time, you need to invest your energy, you need to invest your emotions in the process. But there is something more to it. My question to you is, ask yourself, what sacrifice would you be willing to make in order to turn your dream real? What's the price? The biggest price that you pay is to shed your fake self. The biggest price that you would pay in the process of materialization of your goal is to shed your fabricated self, which you accepted from the society, which you accepted from the education, which you accepted from the media. Then ask yourself, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to be authentic? Are you willing to be the real you in the process? Are you willing to listen to yourself? Are you willing to pay attention to yourself? Are you willing to do everything that it takes to be original? Are you willing to pay the price? Now, for a very long time, I kept learning from media, I kept learning from books, I kept learning from videos, I kept learning from many masters, and found I was always wondering what this sacrifice is. Now, here's what I understood sacrifice as. Sacrifice is avoiding doing those things which become barriers in the process of materialization of your goals. It's not about big sacrifices, it's about those tiny sacrifices that you make every day. You sit relaxing on your couch in front of your television for, let's say, 60 minutes a day. Can you bring it down to 30 minutes? Can you bring it down to 20 minutes? Can you bring it down to 0? Are you willing to do that? Now that's a simple thing to say, but it's a big sacrifice on your way to turning your vision real. Goal setting in itself is all about planning, but sacrifice is all about execution. And sacrifice is the most important element on your way to turn your goals real. What are the biggest barriers, which might be physical, mental, and emotional barriers? What kind of sacrifices are you prepared to make? How much time do you spend with your friends? How much time do you spend in front of television? How much time do you spend on your mobiles? What do you do with your time? And where are your biggest time wasters? Where are your biggest energy wasters? Where are your biggest emotional energy wasters? Identify and list them out. Find out your top 10 time wasters. Find out your top 10 energy wasters, and find out your top 10 emotional energy wasters. List them out, identify them, start working on them, and find out ways to minimize the damage. And this would be the biggest sacrifice that you would be able to make. You would be able to make in the process of turning your goals real. And there is one more thing important. List out. The question is, why don't people make sacrifices? I don't agree that you don't have a goal. You probably have a goal, and most of the people we meet around have goals, but most of them are important goals, not important goals. What is the reason people hang around these important goals? The reason is not being willing to make these sacrifices? And if you're willing to make these sacrifices, my question to you is, what are the biggest excuses that might become your barriers? Excuses are the rivals, are the enemies of your sacrifices. The moment you are prepared to make a sacrifice, you face an excuse. And we have invisible and innumerable number of excuses throughout the day. I would want you to identify these biggest excuses that might pose threat to your journey of turning your goals real. What are list 10 top excuses that you might be using or you have a tendency to use? See, if you have started if you have taken a new resolution of going on a morning walk or going on a nutritious food or studying a book every week, the question is, how long did you stick with it? And if you are not able to stick with it, then there is something behind it, and that something is that invisible mental trick of excuse that you might be using. If you want to become a master of goal setting, and if you want to master the skill of execution towards your goal setting, then you must ask yourself, what are those excuses that I'm using as my own psychological barriers? Once you identify them, find out how you can overcome this habit of taking excuses and making excuses. There is no use faking it, and there is no use in believing faking it till you make it. Face it. Face the reality. Face those excuses. Find out those sacrifices that will help you turn your goals real. Ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price? If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would invite you to subscribe to my channel, because I'm sharing dozens and dozens of videos on authentic self-leadership and personal growth and personal transformation. Love you.